UFC 314 takes place a weekend now. I'm going to be predicting every single fight on the card, starting off with the early prelims, finishing with the main event. These are the fights on the card, just in case you didn't already know. We're going to find out anyway. Starting off with the early prelims, we're going to start off with the early prelim opener of Nora Kalina versus Haley Kowan. Now, I'm going to pick Cornola to get this one done. Kowan, she's had injuries throughout her career. Actually, I'm going to put this on the screen. I'm picking them to get it done by decision, by the way, in case you're wondering. Kowan has had injuries throughout her career, very injury prone. Her last fight was 2 years ago. She's had 2 separate fights fizzle out because of her getting injured. 2 fights before her last fight as well, if that makes sense. Also cancelled because she was injured. Having that as like a mental game where you haven't fought in 2 years and you can't train as hard or train to like failure, I guess you can say, because of the risk of you getting injured. That's not good going into a fight. You can't do the extra 10 reps in the gym of like bench press. A terrible example, I know, but you know what I'm trying to say. If you're worried about getting injured. So I don't think a conditioning is going to be the same. I think Colina's going to get this one done. And also, 2 years outside the cage, you're going to be rusty. So I'm going to pick Cornola to get this one done by decision because I don't think there's any finishing potential in this fight. Moving on. Treshawn Gord versus Marco Tulio. I think straight up Tulio will get this one done. Gore has shown that he's all right, but at the same time, he's lost to the likes of Cody Brundage. He lost to Brian Battle at middleweight. I don't think he can't hang there with the best of the best. Now, I'm not saying Marco Tulio is the best of the best, but he's decent enough to get a win over Tristan Gore. You know what I'm trying to say? And he's also on a 3-fight knockout streak. I'm going to pick him to get this one done by round 1 KO. Or at the very least, round 2 KO. Yeah, I'm picking him to get this one done. Moving on, I'm going to get Google Translate out. Oh, my days. Sumadairaji versus Mitch Raposo. Now, I'm going to pick Sumadairaji to get this one done by decision. Why have I thrown that out straight away? We're going to throw it out straight away. I don't think Mitch Raposo is that good. And, that's a lie. But, I mean, in terms of the flyweight division and in terms of the fact that there is an 8-inch difference in reach in this fight, I don't see Raposo being able to come over 8 inches of reach against a guy who's long and lengthy like Superdojo. What? I need to get Google Translate back open. Have I butchered his name again? That is criminal. Give me a second, everybody. Suma Dairaji. I don't know how much I butchered that. I think I mixed up with Raposo, and I said Suma Raposo. Suma Dairaji, he is taller. I mean, Raposo is kind of undersized for the division, if we're going to be real here, which is sad to say because it is the smallest division in the entire company, and you're undersized, which is it's just a double slap in the face, really. But I'm going to pick Sumadaira to get this one by decision. I think he just jabs and teeps his way, using his extreme reach advantage to a win here, which is boring, but you get what you get. You know what I mean? Moving on, Cedric Dumas or Dumas, I don't think he likes me calling him a dumbass, versus Google Translate Part 2, Michael Aleksiejuk. Now, if you're coming at me for using Google Translate, this guy is Polish, and I don't think a single English person has looked at that Polish name there without previously learning the Polish language and gone, I can pronounce that flawlessly. Aleksiejuk, I think is how you say it. I don't rate Dumas on the feet, or Dumas. I think it's Dumas. I'm going to call him Dumas because, I've already made a point about this. Cedric Dumas, I don't rate him on the feet. He does have a good reach advantage, though, in this fight, which I know I did just say the last guy would win because he had a decent reach advantage. But I'm going to say Dumas will lose this one. He has a reach advantage, but he's kind of bad with it. You know what I'm trying to say? I think Aleksiejuk, what have I just said, is going to get this done by round 2 KO. He does have some good body shots, and I feel like he could drop him with, I'm going to say a right hook, right to the chin of Dumas. So that is my early prelims done. We're on to the prelims. Starting off with the prelim opener, Darren Elkins versus Julian Erosa. I'm going to pick Erosa to get this one done. I'm picking a round 2 submission. Erosa's very good. Very, very good. Fraud checks a bunch of guys. If he then goes and loses to Darren Elkins, the sport makes no sense at all. The damage, Darren Elkins. Now, Elkins also looks 60 years of age. How old is he? I'm just going to check how old this guy. We need to check this, brother. 40 years old? Who give him? 40 years old. He looks about 15 years older than Julian Erosa. Maybe that's not how age. Maybe that's not how age works or aging. Maybe I'm just bugging. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to pick a Rosa to win. I feel like he is better. I feel like he can get the fight to the ground. He can get a submission. I'm going to say guillotine submission. They're both old heads, sort of. Guillotine's still kind of working those guys. So, I'm going to say guillotine. Moving on. Jim Miller versus Chase Hooper. I'm going to go with Chase Hooper. He is nasty on the ground, man. Especially, Jim Miller, decent scrambles, but I think Chase Hooper's just too fast. You know what I mean? He's kind of like what's my point? He's like a spider. You know what I mean? But imagine imagine trying to grapple with a spider that's got like these sticky, jammy arms or gluey arms where if you like touch it, you're stuck to it. That's a terrible analogy, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. I'm going to go Chase Hooper by round 1 submission. I'm thinking a triangle, not triangle choke, you have to be in bottom position for that. I'm thinking a bonnet, inverted triangle. He's going to stick his bum right in his face and get an inverted triangle choke. That's what I'm saying, round 1 submission for Chase Hooper. Moving on. Yan Xiaonan versus Viria Jan. I'm just going to quickly turn off the camera and pronounce this for a second so I don't butcher it. Jandaroba. I don't know why I need to turn the camera off to do that, but we'll roll. We'll roll. This is an interesting one. I believe I have Yan Xiaonan down for a submission on this slide. I'm thinking of changing it. What's my Tapology pick? My Tapology pick is still Yan by decision. Yan Xiaonan could get this one done by submission. I'm thinking about it now. She is a very good grappler, and I don't know about Yan Xiaonan's ability to grapple, especially when it starts to get a little bit scrappy. And I just realized she's got a dog tattoo on her arm. That is a wild tattoo. Jeez, okay, whatever. What was I gonna say? I'm bugging. Right, I'm thinking. Wait, if the fight was to get a little bit scrappy, let's say it gets to the ground and starts getting a little bit scrambly, I think Yandaroba will be able to get in like a guillotine or something, or get a better position from it. I don't trust Yan Xiaonan to do that, but she is much better on the feet. I'm going to pick her to win by decision because that's both my Tapology pick and this pick on here. But I'm going to watch out for this fight. Unless it's very boring, then I'll either get my food delivered or take a shit break. Anyway, moving on. Dan Ige versus Sean Woodson. You already know I'm going with my boy Sean Willie Woodson, okay? That's not his name, just in case anyone's... Why does it say Jim Miller and Chase Hooper? Right, we'll go back to this page. I'm picking Sean Woodson because I think he is better. He's also very long and... 8 inches of reach, was it? Or is it 6 inches? One of the two. 78 inches of reach for Sean Willie Woodson. No, 7 inches of reach. Sorry, neither of them. And he's 6'2" as well. Yeah, I don't see Dan Ige being able to put the hands on him and catch the chin. I think Sean Woodson, Big Willie Woodson, gets this one done by obviously round 3 KO. We're going to take the slide off because it says their names are Jim Miller and Chase Hooper when they're not. I think he gets it done. Round 3 KO. Yeah, that's all. I'm not betting on this fight because, well, if we're going to be real here, 50k Ige could get this one done by KO as well because he does have pretty heavy hands. I'm going to pick Sean Woodson to get this one done, though, by round 3 KO. Main card time. Obviously, no Neil Prates, which is annoying, but that's instead been replaced by Krylov versus Dominick Reyes. This is a very close fight, and especially now that I'm looking at the physique of Dominick Reyes, I'm noticing the fact that his shoulders look very... What's the opposite of broad? Narrow. I don't know what to think about that. And he looks a little bit pudgy. Where if you look at like Krylov, these guys are the same height. What's the reach on it as well? I swear the reach is similar as well. 77.5. So Krylov, he's way more shredded for the division. And look at Reyes, he just looks a little bit pudgy. And that I'm picking Reyes to win by round 3 KO, by the way. But is it round 3 or is it round 2? I swear I said round 2, no? No, late KO for Reyes. That was my point. Yeah, so I'm looking at the physiques. I'm thinking, ooh, Reyes, he looks a little bit pudgy. And I saw the weigh-in as well. I don't know. I think Dominick Reyes is back, though. I think he's going to get this one done by KO, just because I think that he's back. And, he's challenging for a title again, and it's not about to get slept by Krylov. Yeah. So I'm going to pick Dominick Reyes by round 3 KO. I think he's back. I hope he's back, and I will be praying for a win for Dominick Reyes. Moving on. Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio. How am I butchering? Patricio Pitbull. That's not even like one of those names. Like, at least I had an excuse with the Polish guy because it was a Polish name. Patricio isn't even that hard of a name to say, and I'm butchering it. Pitbull. I think I'm banking with Yair Rodriguez winning by decision. Obviously, he got very, very mad at, oh my God, what's his name? Diego Lopez at the presser, which might, take his mind off the fight, or it might just like get him to, really up his oomph and go and knock Patricio out and then call out a Diego Lopez for a title. To be fair, if Diego Lopez wins, that's a title shot right there because of the beef these guys have. And I'd also much rather see that over fucking, what, Evloev versus Lopez 2? No one wants to see that shit. So I'm picking Yair Rodriguez to beat Patricio to beat Pitbull. Yeah. Anything else I was going to say? That was surely another point out in this. I think where's he, Ranger, isn't he? Yeah, oh my God. Pitbull is 5'6". That's not the point I wanted to make. He does have a 6-inch disadvantage in reach, and he also got knocked out by a former flyweight. So, did he get knocked out? I don't think he did. I don't think he did get knocked out. It was by decision, wasn't it? I'm gonna have to scroll through his entire career to try and look for this. Catch weight. Yeah, bantamweight. Yeah, I think it may have been. Okay. No, was it a knockout? No, it was a decision. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Yeah, moving on. Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. Oh, baby, I love this one. I'm picking Bryce Mitchell to win. I'm very hyped for this fight. I'm going to pick Bryce Mitchell to win because Gene Silva, although he's good, I don't rate his grappling game. I rate Bryce Mitchell's grappling game. That being said, Gene Silva could put him out on the feet because Bryce is a moron. He might try and scrap with him. I think if Bryce Mitchell does his thing, gets his takedowns, grapples Gene Silva, I think he knocks him out. Not knocks him out. I think he takes him to a decision win and wins the fight. And I'm banking on Bryce Mitchell to get this one done. Let's get it. Big old Bryce, okay? Anything else I was going to say for this fight? There was one more thing I was going to say. If Gene Silva's going to win, it's going to be by early knockout. But I do just see Bryce Mitchell being able to take him into deeper waters and, not put a beating on him, but beat the shit out of him on the ground anyway. Moving on, Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. Paddy the baddie lad. I think Chandler gets submitted in round number 2. Chandler's awful, man. And the thing is, I can see him just mess, Pimblett might not get the takedown immediately, but I can see Pimblett getting Chandler to the ground. I mean, to be fair, they're awful. How many takedowns did, Oliveira land on him? I swear he landed a lot. I remember Oliveira getting him down straight away. If Pimblett gets the takedown on Chandler, which he might do, he's a very big lightweight, I can see Chandler just being dumb and giving up his back. He got submitted by Dustin Poirier. The black belt, who give him? You know what I mean? Pimblett's has got a much better ground game, and I know people saying, "Oh well, Oliveira didn't put him out or didn't submit him." Now, what chances Pimblett have? Just because Oliveira didn't submit someone doesn't make them unsubmittable. Okay, Oliveira couldn't submit Tony Ferguson, and then the fight after Bobby Green stuck him in a what? Didn't see? It wasn't even guillotine. Got an arm triangle on the guy, put him out. Just like Nate Diaz stuck him in a guillotine. And plus, that was controlled Paddy as well. That fought Chandler. It was not Paddy. It was controlled Oliveira who just refused to submit him to make a point. So I'm going to go with Pimblett. I'm going to go for round 2 submission. I think he finds it. Could well be round 1. Moving on to the main event. Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. This is awful. I know on this slide it says who I've got winning. I've actually changed it. So on this slide, it says I've got Volkanovski winning by late TKO. I've actually now got Lopez winning by early TKO. Now I'm just going to slide this back a fraction. Okay, why do I have Volkanovski winning originally? Originally, I had Volkanovski winning because I thought Volk's really good. And his last 2 fights, yeah, he's been knocked out in both of them. But they were both on really, really bad conditions for Alexander Volkanovski. Obviously, with the Makhachev fight on 2 weeks' notice. Then the Ilia Topuria fight 3 months after being knocked out. Not really a full camp. But then I think about it, I think we don't know what Volkanovski's chin's looking like in the moment. And then Lopez is dangerous, really dangerous in round 1 and round 2. And Volkanovski leaves his chin open in the air, ready to get, taken out. He's going to throw a leg kick and Lopez just going to catch him on the chin. So, and now I'm picking Lopez. I think Lopez jeez, man, my speech has just gone down. I'm going to hire a speech coach. I might actually hire a speech coach. I think Lopanovski, that is a new low. I think Volkanovski gets caught on the end of him landing, like tries to throw himself a calf kick, chin way up in the air. Lopez, with his much longer reach than both Holloway and Topuria, catches him clean on the chin, drops him, and just lands 2 strikes on the chin, uppercut, hammer fist, out cold. It's unfortunate for Volk, but if Volk's going to win, he needs to weather the early storm, which he can do, and just, wait until round 3 and round 4 where Lopez is just not as dangerous, a little bit tired, and he puts a beating on him. Round 4 KO, that's what I said for Volkanovski. Now I've banked with Lopez. Yeah, crazy one. I'm going to pick Lopez by round 2 KO. Moving on, these are all my picks for the card, except for obviously forget the Volkanovski one because that has changed. Yeah. So hopefully you did it. Hopefully you do. Leave a comment, subscribe. See you in the next one. Goodbye.